Hello friends, welcome back to my studio. I'm Katie. It's first thing in the morning and I'm about to do my morning planner routine. And I thought that that would be a good mechanism for talking about how my 2025 system is going and how I'm using it. So I'm going to try and make this more like an update video than a plan with me video, but I do kind of feel like taking it through my morning routine is a decent way of kind of formatting how we'll talk about all of the things. So I'm not gonna have you sit through all my sitting and writing, but we will go through all the parts and kind of an update of how it's going. So this is what I carry around with me every day. I've got my B6 Slim cover that I made. This is holding up okay. It's still a beautiful color. I really like it. It is like a pull-up leather that really gets shows scratches and stuff, which isn't generally my vibe, but I'm working to find the charm in that. I know it is some people's vibes, and it is beautiful leather. So I carry this around all day. This has got my journal, my daily planner, and my mental health planner. We'll get into that. And then I have a folder of stickers and decor. This is chapter 1 from Planners Anonymous, which is a subscription that I've been subscribed to for years. I've just put washi tape that I think might match here on the back that I pull off, and I just work with this as I need it. And then I've got, this is also from Planners Anonymous, just like a little pencil holder. In here I've got a Monami 2000 multi-pen as just a backup ballpoint. I've got an eraser, a pencil, a Tombow hardtip Funosuke, and a Monami 3000 plus pen in a color that matches the stickers generally. I usually pull out a couple different colors at the beginning of the month that match the sticker vibe I'm going with, and then I just swap these out day to day. So let's put these aside for the moment. So I am a morning person, and so, or at least I'm most effective in the morning. I don't say I love morning, but I'm most effective in the morning. And so my planner update, etc., tends to peter out at about 7 or 8 p.m. At night, or sometimes just 4 in the afternoon, depending on what it is. So I always have a little catching up to do in my planner first thing in the morning. So here's my weekly. I haven't decorated this one as much as usual. I usually put some decor, but I haven't yet for this one. I just wasn't in the zone. So either I will add some or I won't. This is a Sterling Ink B6 Slim Planner horizontal that I have adapted to be I don't know, my ultimate dashboard, everything at a glance planner. And I do have one plan with me the very first week I did this. I will do another one where I am exhibiting more confidence. But essentially I just highlight across here and I make this into an hourly format for the B6 Slim, and I assume the N1 you can make these 5 squares across. That still, I feel like, gives me enough space here to write what I want to. The columns are small, but as you can tell, I'm not writing a whole lot there. It's just a way to get a visual picture of my week, you know. I'll put birthdays, holidays, appointments in that section. So I don't have a lot of those kinds of things in a week, but I do find it really helpful to just be able to see them in an hourly format, even though this is a horizontal planner. Then I've got lists of various kinds here down the side: mail, errands, groceries, random groceries throughout the week, lunch and dinner. I have an Alistair method here going for my habit trackers and non-day specific tasks. These are a lot of the tasks that I pull from my Moxie Life goals. End up here, although I do sometimes pull them into a specific day. This is not my most productive week of all time. It's been a hard week nationally. In the last 2 weeks I haven't been super on the ball, but I had more tasks and was doing things here. I'm feeling okay. The top section is habit trackers, and let's see if I have anything to complete. No, I'm pretty up to date for Friday. I didn't do the cleaning task, so I need to go back that. So the first section is like daily habits, although I've added some here, but the rest of these are kind of more like tasks, and so some of those I've done better than others. I kind of hope this weekend to check a lot of those off. And then here I have something that I have found extremely effective, which is a gridded sticky note, which it doesn't need to be, with a habit tracker for my weekly tasks, like my once a week kinds of tasks, or my all week. My monthly habit, it's my monthly habit tracker. So there have been 5 weeks in January. I almost said September for no good reason. So I have a dot for each week. And at the end of a week, when I have completed all the stuff, I can go in and check these off. And I actually find this to be an extremely motivating thing, because I take this post-it note from week to week. I mean, I'm about to have a new one here for February, but when I don't finish a habit on this week and I just turn the page, it's gone, right? And so I enjoy having this keeping me accountable from week to week. Obviously, you can tell it didn't work for my day 1 habit. That's just one that's really a struggle. We haven't finished week 5 yet, so I haven't checked those off. But I have found this like really motivating, because I want those marked in. And so I really want to make sure that at the end of Sunday, all of these things can be counted as done. So I found that very motivating. Here's my day specific tasks. I haven't been leaning on that so much this week, but that comes and goes. And I would check a lot of these are things I've planned ahead of time. So, on Saturday, today I need to pay bills and I need to do a Moxie Life recap for the month. These are things I planned on a previous day, honestly last Sunday, but it could have been as the week went on, I added things or whatever. So that is where I mostly put these tasks are mostly things I've set out earlier in the week to do. So let me check to see if there's anything to mark off here. So I already looked at the daily tasks. I didn't do any of that. I'm more on the ball than usual and more than I expected to be. But I would check all of these, and then we can talk about my other sections of my planner by doing one of these habits as a planner flip, and that's to go and look at all my pages and see if there's anything to update. So this one I'm using to kind of track whether or not I spent hobby money, and I didn't on either Thursday or Friday, so I can check that. Then here is my symptom tracker. And this is tiny, and I apologize, but I use these on the day across this date here, right? So on Friday, I'm going to do this. That's that I exercised that day. I didn't have any alcohol, so otherwise I would cross that. And I did have insomnia. I would call it moderate insomnia. And I just do that one by like a late night dot here. I kind of fill that in based on how bad it was. The other things that I fill in are like if I had a headache, those are mostly the symptoms I've been tracking, but I can add other things. And I use the like 5 across to kind of indicate when in the day they are. So the first line is breakfast, the second line is lunch, the third line is dinner, and the like spaces in between them are like the times in between that. And then I've got 2 for like early night and late night kinds of issues. That was motivated when I was having a lot of GI problems that were meal specific. That hasn't really been my problem anymore, but it's still a good way. And then I can write down any notes I have about that symptom. Thankfully, January's been a pretty good month. And so that's that. I also am tracking my insomnia specifically in this tracker here in my mental health planner. And I said, in this one I indicated on the day that would be affected by not sleeping. So today that's February 1st. And so I'm just going to mark that here. And actually I could fill in for January, I had 3 insomnia days. So I can fill that in here. Am I doing, yeah, we'll just put a line 3. I'm not specifying between severe or moderate because I don't have that many. So fill that in. This is highly influenced by my discussions with Allison at Little Coco Studio. We've been talking about ways of displaying data that you want. And so this is my insomnia tracker. And I tried that in both places because I do feel like it really ties to my mental health. And the other one shows a lot of data, but this one is just for that. Now would also be when I look through, I'm not going to show you this, when I look through my mental health planner. This is Hobonichi Weeks. And I just take a moment to see how I feel. I use a word like a wheel of feelings, and I just write down at the beginning of the day and another time that I'm in my planner kind of how I feel, how it makes my body feel. I'm not going to do that right now, but I do that. And then here's a week I didn't really fill it out, but I try and mark what I've done to soothe, connect, and release regarding my anxiety. So it's my mental health Hobonichi Weeks. I think this has a lot of benefit. I am glad to be using it. It does add substantially to the bulk of my whole system. And so there's a part of me that thinks about like maybe I should just leave this at home. If I took it out of my like everyday carry system, it would be much lighter, much smaller, but I haven't yet pulled the plug on that because I do find that there's value in having it there with me along the day. But in future years, I had to have this Hobonichi Weeks. I love the cover so much. In future years, I hope not to love any of the covers this much and to not buy one. And I think I would just use a much thinner insert and much lighter and have that still here with me. But not, I know a Hobonichi Weeks is neither big nor heavy, but it is substantially adding to the bigness and the heaviness of my system. So there we've got the weeks, and then I've got these different tabs. So the first one is to my symptom tracker. The second one is to my annual goals, which I have not printed out because they're on my iPad. The third one is to my like monthly goals. I don't think there's anything to update here. We're not going to spend too much time there. This is to my monthly. I do track some like discretionary spending here, and last night we went out to eat, so I'm gonna write that here. This is just a way of keeping things front of mind. I'll fill that in later. It's also where I meal plan along the side here and just think of ideas of what to eat and what things I have in the freezer and what things I need to use up. It's just a place to store random stuff. And then the last section here are my trackers in the back. I have a sinking fund for a little book nook that I want to make. It's too early to update this. At the end of the week, when I finish my daily cleaning habit, I will mark this off. And then my craft and stationery budget is when I come in here and update. But I haven't done any of that in the last couple days, so I don't have anything to fill in there. Okay, so we're caught up from yesterday. All of this I feel like is working really well. I am loving this B6 Slim planner. It's doing exactly what I want it to be. I am very happy. Do I think that like you will never see me change it up in 2025? I mean, knowing me, you probably will. But right now I'm really happy. It's really working for me. And these pages are so adaptable that I don't expect myself to move out of this planner even if I decide to change what my layout is, because there's really not that much on the page here. So I expect to be in this book the whole year. I did cut out a bunch of the extra pages, so there are only 8 blank pages in this version. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see. I have a feeling my craft and stationery budget is going to take a couple pages based on we're down 1 month. So that's unfortunate, but I think I have the pages for it. Next up in my life, in my morning routine, is my journal. And you've seen me talk, and I will do another video about this, how unhappy I was in this Midori insert. I have finished it now. We got all the way through the end. I'm gonna do a video of a post-mortem of this and a pre-mortem of this one, but I have moved into a 52 GSM white paper one. This is from Wonderland 222 that I've cut down and replaced the cover for. Initial things are promising, but we will do a separate video on that. But here, for my morning routine, we'll start a new day. I use stickers from Sterling Ink. I've trimmed them just so that they fit. They're too wide otherwise. And I'll put the date sticker down. And then I will use whatever pen, like emphasis pen I am using to do weather, intention, and tasks. I already used the brown, so I'm gonna pick a different color, and I'm gonna do that and come back. All right, so I picked this blue, which I think is a little lighter than I would have gone for if I'd swatched it, but here we are. I filled in the weather. I also, this time of year, have started filling in sunrise and sunset times because it's January and I enjoy seeing them get longer. I, threw a mild party in my mind when we passed that it was no longer after 8 a.m. that the sun was rising, because that feels bad to me to be like spending my whole getting ready time in the dark. So it's 7:37 right now, and I can see out the window that it's starting to get light out there. So I enjoy watching the numbers get bigger. I kind of expect that like once we go either after the solstice or after the fall equinox, that I'm not going to. I don't want to watch them get smaller. That's just a thing. I put an intention here. This is a thing I regularly fail to fill out, but I do kind of like having that spot there. Kind of is my like one big thing. The like, if everything else fails, this is what I want to get done. Especially on work days, I tend not to like do that much because like the one thing I want to get done is like, I don't know, work. If nothing else gets done, that's fine. But now we get to our tasks. And so that's when I like have my main planner out. And this is something last year, I was doing the Sterling Ink all-in-one kind of thing. And now I have these separate, and I do kind of enjoy having them separate because I like having this out in front of me while I am working in this one instead of flipping back and forth. I am a terrible flipping back and forth kind of person. I just don't like to do it. That's why I have this as like a whole dashboard. Like, so much of my information is just here. I recognize that we just went and like filled in all the things, but we filled in all the things because I didn't do that all day, and I have a task that tells me to flip through them because it is not my natural instinct. So I really prefer to have my things. And here in my daily is where I'm going to be much more granular about my tasks. You know, these are the things that I set out for myself to do last week when I was filling it in. But it doesn't include any of my habits because those are already here, right? There are only 6 lines here, and so I feel the need to be careful about how I spend them. Obviously, I'm not spending them that much here, but you know, some days if I put all my habits on here, they wouldn't all fit. I'd run out of space. So here's where I get much more granular. So I said ahead of time that I was going to pay the bills today and that I was going to do my Moxie Life recap. So I'll put those on here, but then I will add, you know, what other habits or things from that Alistair method list that I want to put on here. So I want to finish my book, The Book of Doors. And that's because A, I do want to finish it, but B, like, I think I'm going to do it. And if I consider it a win, then I get to mark it off. Whereas if I just do it and it feels like it's the expense of my other tasks, then I will feel bad. But reading 52 books is one of my goals for this year. So it is in line with my goals. So I may as well put it as a task. If I don't finish it today and I finish it tomorrow, it's not that big a deal. I do have a book. I have this like anxiety workbook that I need to work through. And that is a thing I put off. I'm gonna actually do it today. Another thing I haven't been putting off is these like lessons on how to draw a leopard. And I don't know why I'm putting it off, but I have been, but I don't think I should put too many things that I'm like putting off here. And I had film YouTube video, and in my here I just have it as one task, but it's gonna be a couple things. So film it, but I'm also gonna do edit, because here I have plenty of room for my tasks, and I'm gonna do upload and finalize. That's like, you know, thumbnail and whatever. And then I gotta like search my mind for other kind of tasks that need doing. This is, I mean, I'll add to this as the day goes on. Often in the circumstance, it's like meal plan and grocery list, even if I don't actually go to the grocery store until tomorrow, which I think is probably likely. At least I could be prepped here. These are tasks I often end up putting off, but here. And then is today the day that I go to draw some animals at the Creature Conservancy? I think probably yes, based on the other things I have here on my list so far. They seem pretty compatible. I don't have to spend a lot of time cooking. So I try to go most weekends on one of the 2 days, but I never know which day it's going to be. So I've got my tasks. I've flipped through all of my planner. The next thing I would do is finish my journal from yesterday. Usually I have a lot more here than this particular day. I didn't do a bunch of these things. I did move. I did call my mother. Fridays are a day I try not to expect too much of myself, and I still mostly fail. Often, finishing the day is like this amount, this amount kind of thing. Yesterday was particularly little, partly because it's usually a 2 pages per day journal. But because I only did half of like 1 page the day before, I only was going to do 1 page yesterday, which felt compatible, but it meant that I wanted to pick the most important things and I didn't know what they were yet. So The next step, if I've got the time, is to finish it in my journal, and I do have the time, so I'm gonna go do that. But I think that's kind of it for talking about my planner system. At some point during the day, I'll start putting some stickers or some washi down. I don't necessarily do that first thing because I've already like picked stuff that matches. This one, the match isn't great, but I feel confident in starting, even though I haven't picked, you know, which specific stickers or washi tape or whatever I'm going to put down. So I usually feel that out later. And it's usually I don't start my journal for today quite yet. It depends on how I feel. But often that starts more at like 10 a.m. or whatever, once I've done some day to talk about. But if I feel like I need to do it like a pep talk, then I would start. This Wonderland 222 has a divided page. Before you cut it, they're divided in equal portions, but because of how I cut it, it's actually perfect for my little sidebar, which is a layout I have really been enjoying in my journal so far. So that's been working out well, but it does have this timeline down the side. I said I wasn't going to talk about this too much, and I think I'm just going to write over it. I switched from a gray ink to a fully black ink in the hopes that that means that I can just write over it no problem, but I do like the division here. So I don't know, I just started here. It's 96 pages, so it'll probably take me a little over a month to get through it, and I expect opinions will happen, but I'm only a couple days in so far, so not so far. Anyway, this has been the update on my planner system in general. I'm really happy. I'm really content. The only things that have been bothering me so far was that I didn't like the first insert that I did, but that one's finished. And I do like the Hobonichi weeks, but it is making my system heavier and bulkier than I most optimally want. Other than that, I think everything is working together really well. It doesn't feel like too much work. It feels really satisfying. So put me down so far, 1/12 of the way through 2025 is very content, and I will check in the future to see how things continue to evolve. Bye friends, thanks for hanging out with me. We'll talk again soon. Feel free to chat with me in the comments about how your first month in your planners is going. I'd love to chat. Bye friends.